Brought my stuff.
Give me
I'm
one
ready
second.
today.
What's going on? Okay. We are live. Let me see. Here we are. We are live. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Can you all see yourselves? If you are on live at 5 on Facebook. All right. You look okay? All right. Good evening, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to everybody to the Live at 5 Week 3 series, where we will be introducing our fellow author and brother, Walking Crow. But before we do get started, we always want to honor our ways. And so I'm going to pass the feather over to Standing Bear and to Shanda. Our other co-hosts and authors here will help us in opening up in a good way. So I pass the feather.
Shanda, you want to open up?
Yes, sir. Hey, Kitchen Man and Chew, Chi Megwitch. Chi Megwitch, we offer tobacco. Chi Megwitch for our breath. Chi Megwitch for our life. Chi Megwitch for all my brothers and sisters that have made it today. We thank you for our ancestors, the 5th generation, above and below. We thank you that you are the great mystery, and we thank you for the creation that you have given us that is our medicine. We thank you for Mother Earth. We pray for her protection. We thank you for flowing harmony, water. We thank you for the ancestors of the Flying Nation, the Standing Nation, the Creepy Crawlies. We thank you for our elders who have held on to the Red Railways. We thank you for the elders that are here and each and every host that is here today and every participant. And we ask that the flowing peace that passes everything that surpasses our vision and everything else, that it would be null and void today, and that people will have their ears to help them understand that Creator is mighty, and Creator has given us all things that we need through our ancestors and through creation, and we all have medicine in us. So we ask that would flow out to the airways and flow out to those that are heavy burdened and weary for fighting for the missing Indigenous women, the Indigenous peoples. And we pray for those who never came home from the residential schools and their families. We thank you that they are not forgotten. And we thank you for all those that have held it down to protect the water and to protect Mother Earth and everything else. We say thank you. Kitchen Manitou, Chi Megwitch.
My God, sister.
What? I don't get it.
Thank you, Standing Bear. We were having a little bit difficulty hearing, and I'm not sure. It's probably because the flute was right by the microphone. So we'll try it again then when we close. Maybe.
Well, I know not to interrupt, but I know in past Zoom meetings, everybody muted themselves, and only the person talking or playing the flute or whatever had their mic on. That might help.
Okay. Thank you for that, Gina. We appreciate that. We'll
You're
try
very
that when we
welcome.
close. Thank you so much. All right. Well, thank you, Sister Shanda, for the prayer, and Brother Standing Bear for opening us up with the flute. Is there anything that you would like to say, brother, before we move forward with the interview? Standing Bear?
Oh, no, just Yeah, just to reiterate, this is a beautiful time, a beautiful place, a beautiful opportunity. This is a seventh generation prayer opportunity. As writers, we really have to, that's part of our legacy, and part of our legacy is sharing the wisdom and the knowledge. And so, I'm just so proud of you all, just for it takes courage to write. It takes courage to step out. It takes courage to put pen to paper, but it takes purpose to step out there in the public. And so now, I just want to publicly acknowledge how proud I am of all of you.
Oh, oh my
So,
goodness. Oh, Wopilatanka Chichi. Thank you so much. Ashola here. I appreciate it. Thank you for the opening, for all of us in a good way, for grounding and harmony. So without further ado, we're going to move into our interviewer, Walkie Crow, our brother Anthony Rodriguez. And he just wrote his book, Transformational Give me one second here because I want to share a page with everybody and the questions that we're going to be talking about, in this. Oh, where'd it go? No. Give me 1 second. I apologize. Okay, I have all my screens up. I apologize because I'm looking at Facebook Live. And for those of us who have any questions, I want to invite you to come into the Zoom room so we can hear you and get your questions. Or if you have questions, put them in the live feed. If we don't see them right now, we'll get to them definitely. Share the page, share this out with other people, so that they could see this and what we're doing in a good way. And we also are inviting new authors, Indigenous authors, to come forward to tell us who you are. And if you'd like to be a part of the series, we're working on some things to move forward, but I don't want to take anything away from Walking Crow. So this is Transformation of a Walking Crow. And this is just a book I wanted to share with those who are here in the live. And this is the cover. You can find it on Amazon, of course. But we're going to talk to Anthony about his book and where it derived from, where it came from. But I wanted to talk a little bit first of the introduction here. Living and growing through young childhood into teenage years, there's much confusion and misunderstanding. We are unaware of the unseen scars we're left with through experiences with others, whether family, friends, teachers, clergy, political figures, strangers, religion, and even the media and television. I wanted to keep jumping through, but you can see this. And when you go on Amazon, this is a example read that you can see, about what the book is about. But there's so many things that brother has resiliency and come from. And I wanted him to first start out with, it says, I say yes to you and share my journey so that you can truly find yourself and begin to say yes after a lifetime of saying no. And before we go really into the heart of the book, the meat of the book, I want Walking Crow, if you can introduce yourself to us, tell us about yourself and how the book journey started.
Well, my name is Anthony Rodriguez Walking Crow. I was given that name by Emma Molina Enriquez. She's my teacher in Los Angeles. I am Tarahumara and Purepeche on my mother's side. Those are tribes of Mexico. I'm Chichimeca on my father's side, and I'm 17% Spaniard. And the rest is, is a filtering of all kinds of different ethnicities through the bloodlines. I was born in San Fernando. I'm from Los Angeles originally. I swore I would never leave Los Angeles, and when I left Los Angeles, I never wanted to go back. But I want to say something real quick. Listening to somebody read the words of my words within the pages of that book that you just read started to make me cry. Because my voice was taken away at an early age of 5 years old, like Wayne's, like a lot of us. I did go to boarding school. I went to a Catholic kindergarten school at 5 years old, where I learned how to be slapped, hit, pinched, pull my hair, ridiculed, you name it. I learned how to be that, and that was no fun. And that was the basis for writing the book, because I noticed through sobriety and a lot of other things that I've healed a lot of parts of my life once I stepped onto the red road, which I've been on for about 14 years. And there are so many different versions of the Red Road, but the Red Road is the Red Road. You know, I hear Wayne talk, and I hear you talk, and I hear others talk, and there are moments that I feel like inadequate because, because I didn't live on the res, or I wasn't raised with natives. I was raised in the suburbs. And when I grew up in the 60s, there was Polish, there was German, there was Italians in my neighborhood, there was Japanese that had been in the internment camps in Mindanao in California. And there was the African Americans lived across the railroad tracks. I lived a block off the railroad tracks behind the police station of the infamous Rodney King beating. Aho. So, you know, I have a lot of history and with a lot of culture in my early life, but I was still a little brown Mexican native kid that just felt alone and unloved. And that's what the basis of the book is, how I recovered from that, how I transformed, I'll say it this way, from that seemingly hopeless state of mind and body.
And thank you for that, Anthony. Walking Crow. We honor your spirit name. I know him as Anthony, and I know Standing Bear as Wayne, so don't judge me. I love them both, but for the sake of honoring them and my brother, you know, Walking Crow and Standing Bear and Chanda, you know, my co-host, co-facilitators of this, you know, beautiful Indigenous writing circle. And you know, we came up with this idea to do this. Well, Chanda did, and we just thought it was something beautiful. We had no idea that it was going to grow, or that we had thought that it was going to grow, but we want to invite those Indigenous writers, those aspiring writers, those authors that are already out there. Well, you know, this is why we're doing this, to inform you, to educate you, to let you know that there is healing in the process of writing for ourselves. Now, can you talk about what you stated at that last sentence? After a lifetime of no's, you're finally saying yes. Can you elaborate more what that means to you and how other people may be receptive to that or hear that?
Well,
That's
during my
beautiful.
walk, I realized that when I was a little kid, I wanted something, and there's a pecking order in the families. A lot of times, it's the oldest and the youngest, and for a lot of years, it was my 2-year-old brother, 2 years older, my sister 2 years younger. So the little prince and the little princess and this little black sheep in the middle, and then there's a gap of about 5 years, and there's another little boy born, right? Another little prince, and then another couple of years, and my sister Yolanda's born, so another little princess. I was never part of the pecking order, and I always felt that's where I think the rejection started. And I would ask for things in my family, and for some reason, I was told no, and maybe I was taking it personally, and it wasn't. I don't know. But I heard no more times than I wanted to. So I grew up learning how to say no to myself because I wasn't good enough. I wasn't white enough. I wasn't thin enough. I wasn't tall enough. I wasn't talented in sports enough. I had low or no self-esteem. So I learned as I came along the Red Road and started to do the healing from within, not without, that I had said no to myself more times than I realized. And if that's the case with me, I know that that's the case with others, because I found myself in the anonymous as getting sober and being arrested and being sent to all these meetings. And even to this day, I hear it come out of their mouth, and I'm like, wow, I'm glad I changed the words that I use to talk to myself. And I say that please say yes to yourself. Learn to say yes to yourself after a lifetime of no's. For me, that is the elk medicine, the long distance journey, because when elk is migrating, you don't get in elk's way, and elk doesn't stop. They keep going. So if you're willing to be brave enough to step out onto the path and go through any obstacle, around it, through it, or over it, say yes to that pathway. Say yes to the obstacles. Say yes to the darkness of the path that may come upon you, and keep going, and you will see the light come out of you forward. I hope.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I got a question.
Yes,
I
take
got
it
a
away.
question.
Get it.
Transformation. comes in bits and pieces, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
one of my, one of my greatest elders, again, he's a gentleman in recovery, and he said, and he talked about that for years. He said, we get it in bits and pieces. Just take us through a moment. There's a pivotal moment there, like you kind of glossed it over, but I'm not going to allow you to gloss it over, like that pivotal moment where he said, you know what? There's something that I have that I want to share. Tell us about one, maybe two of those moments, at least one of those moments that said, you know what? There's beauty here in the pen. There's beauty here in my story. There's beauty here, and this is what I'm going to tell. Just kind of briefly walk us through that. One or two moments.
Well, the foundation of my sobriety in my life was steeped in Alcoholics Anonymous up to about year 20 of sobriety. And I was sitting in a meeting one day in the back, and I was sitting in my row. There was nobody to the right, nobody to the left, but I'm listening to what's going on, and I'm I love the foundation that was set for me in those anonymous, but somebody was droning on again about the same old thing, about the same old situation. I just and from in here, I heard, listen to the still small voice, not the voices. And I looked around to my left and my right, and there was nobody around. And I heard it again, listen to the still small voice, not the voices. And at that moment, I got up and left and never went back to the Anonymouses again. I found that I didn't need that. I had my fill of that, and I still carry that message in my own way on the pathway. And I found that because they teach you, oh, I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. I don't know. Oh, I know something. They teach you that I'm sick. You talk about that all the time, Wayne. I'm sick. I'm not sick. And so once I left there, I said to myself, I am the preamble of those particular anonymous says, we 100 people have recovered from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. Period. End of sentence. Walking Crow says, I am the tree that didn't get knocked down by the four winds. I am rooted and I am fruited. I have transformed from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. I was never hopeless. I was only helpless. I asked for help and I remain hopeful. So those two instances, hand in hand, one before the other act, when I walked out, and then when I came to that realization that part of the preamble was stagnation. It was keeping me stuck in that seat, drinking coffee and smoking nicotine, and I didn't need to be there. I had a bigger voice, and I had something to say, and I was going to say it.
Beautiful. Thank you, man. That was a beautiful picture of, you took me to this place of just walking out of a room. It was like this beautiful transition. It wasn't walking away from something. It was really walking into something that's beautiful and powerful. And it's beautiful the way that you acknowledge the help that you got there. That's the beautiful part, right? Like, even though you may not resonate with it now, the beauty of it is, that's the power right there. It's the thank you for everything that you offered me, and so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Mm,
I
thank you,
have to tell
Stanley.
you, I get really emotional when at certain parts of my story, because it's still bubbling up. It's still I'm a work in progress, right? And it just bubbles up, and the emotion just overwhelms me sometimes.
And just to give you a little validation too, brother, as we continue on our healing journey, that's going to come up. Those things are going to come to the surface as we continue to heal. So allowing yourself to embrace those emotions and feelings and is you healing and continuously healing in a good way. on the doing the good things. And thank you, Standing Bear, for that question, because that was definitely. And then seeing ourselves, having that visualization of being a tree planted, and fruits growing off of it. We're no longer running, like Standing Bear said, we're no longer running away from, we're running to true healing, to exception, to love, to acknowledgement. And it starts with self. So thank you for that. And thank you for that question. I want to pass it over to Sister Shanda. Do you have any questions for Walking Crow? Did you want to say?
Before Shanda asks, I want to say something. There was something
Mhm.
else that I learned that I began to say with that. It's I am the I am that I say I am, and I would point in my third chakra, and I would say, I can, I will, I do, I am. I can, I will, I do, I am. I can, I will, I do, I am. I am the I am that I say I am. You don't have a dog in this fight. So I was taking my stance within the world, for the world, of the world, but I was going to shine. I didn't care what you said. Please, Shanda, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Just beautiful. I just love hearing from all of you. I love Paige. When I met you at the gathering, it was kind of a new thing to me. I actually had contacted you about you birth drums and you have rattlers, and I see a lot of, I guess what I'm wondering is, because me as an author, like my last book, I put a lot of medicines in there, that I wanted people to know, hey, these are medicines. So like the drums is medicine, the rattlers are medicine. The prayer is medicine. We are medicine sitting in the medicine circle. So I guess what I'm asking is, you do a lot of things, and but I'm wondering, like, is that the rhythm, the drums and the rattler, and then the writing? And I mean, was this just like the medicines and kind of the rhythm of what helped birth the book?
Yeah, because when you're reading the book, I refer to everything as medicine. I have, from the moment I stepped into Sweat Lodge and ceremony, everything became medicine for me. And the drum is the medicine of the divine feminine. The drum is the medicine of my 87-year-old original drum, my mother, where I connected to her heart when I was in utero through the gestation of 9-month period, number 9 being the number of spiritual completion. So I looked at water, first medicine, right? I was taught that over the internet by all the native brothers and sisters that I know, that I came upon. And I started to listen, but really listen, not from here, HERE, but from HEAR, here. And I often say the word ear is in heart. So this is where I'm going to listen from, and this is medicine. And I understood the 4 elements of being earth, water, fire, and air, which are the 4 elements of the earth, that those are the elements within me. So I started to refer to all of those things as medicine, and they became more medicine to me as I became a deeper version of the medicine that I used to be.
So I would think that anybody who really wants to come to you to allow you to walk them through that healing process, that they really should read the book first. I mean, to be able to really absorb what your significance of all of that is.
Actually, as a matter of fact, when people call me to be mentored by me or a healing session, I suggest that they buy the book, that they buy a highlighter and a pencil and read it that way. And what happens as they start to read into the book, they start to connect with, well, that happened to me. I can, they start to really relate. In fact, I gave my book to one of the vendors where I vend here in Sedona. I gave him a copy of the book because I know his situation. His partner has cancer. He has heart issues, and he's kind of an angry guy. So I gave him my book. And when he saw me 2 weeks later, he says, "Oh, I read your book." He goes, "I just want to give you a hug. It was so sad." I said, "You know what? you didn't finish reading the book. And if you did, you would learn how to help your heart heal your heart issue that came from a broken heart when you were a child. Where was it in your childhood that happened? And if you read the book, it'll lead you forward onto the stepping stones of your healing life. I hope.
And Standing Bear does have the conclusion of the book, which I think will take some explanation from the author.
Oh, actually, yes, but it won't really need any explanation because it's pretty self-explanatory.
So you're on mute, brother. Did you wanna go asking the conclusion? Because I have one more question. I saw a part, and if I
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
No, that's
I was just connecting it with the conclusion because we are going to read the conclusion, and I think
Yeah.
he'll maybe explain a little bit more.
Yeah, because I wanna touch on this part that I read, and it just kind of, when I was younger, my mother used to just, when I was, in I guess, just looking for an answer, and she's like, open the Bible, or open this book, or open this meditation book. I do it with meditations. I do it with Standing Bear. I do it with yours. I do it with Chanda's. I do it with my own book,
Yeah.
to find those, because I don't use the Bible anymore. But I'm not saying anything negative if that helps you, but I opened your book and I found this, and it was just so relatable in regards to a feeling of being a black sheep, or an identity issue, or not knowing who you are. So I want to read this to you really quick. It's about your father, and just let me read this, and then I'll ask you my question. My dad used to tell me, your mom doesn't love you because you're darker than the other kids. Words like that were not a great thing to hear. I started believing him and noticed differences in how I thought my siblings and I were treated. Became more and more uncomfortable, so I never made any effort to be close to my mom, and in fact drew away from her. I didn't realize it at the time, but Dad was driving a wedge between me and my mom, brother, and sister. I don't believe it was conscious or on purpose, as he may have needed allies for his drinking, which my mom didn't like. Regardless, I was always willing to go alone to the park, store, or anywhere that I could to get my dad to buy me some treats. It felt like a reward or prize for being his shadow. And I don't know, when I opened that and I read that, it automatically made me feel that identity, a loss of identity for myself, or not even having one. Being a black sheep in my family, being dark, being picked up, being ridiculed. Well, what I want to focus on is, while that may have been happening to you, how did you get through? And what is the other side of that coin?
When we would come home from a day at the park, my father was drunk and I was terrified in the truck, holding on for dear life because he was swerving across the lanes. But he would stop at the liquor store to buy a pint or a 6-pack. And I would ask him for a box of Milk Duds and a 7-Up, and I always bought those two things together. I would get home, we would get home, and I was usually terrified, but I would dump out the Milk Duds on the table, and I would suck the chocolate off of the caramel that I chew in the caramel, and I'd open the 7-Up, and I'd watch the bottle of 7-Up. If you guys remember that green bottle, 7-ounce green bottle, and every now and again, the little bubbles from the bottom of the 7-Up would form and then float up to the top. Float up to the top. And I didn't know that there was an issue. Well, I knew that, my father drunk, that was normal to me. That was normalcy, right? The fights, that was normalcy. It terrified me and left me as a child in pain, but I thought it was normal. So every time an emotion would come up or a feeling would come up, I thought about that moment sitting at the table. That was my sense of relief from that whole day of my father being drunk. My sense of relief was comforting myself with Milk Duds, and then watching the bubbles rise and pop once they hit the oxygen at the top of that bottle. That's what I like in my life too. All those things came up, and I didn't know how to deal with them. Why would I? How could I? Where would I learn that? Because at 5 years old, when my trauma starts happening, or 3 years old, I don't know anything. And then later they blame the little kid for being the problem, when the truth is the responsible parties are irresponsible with the responsibility that they brought into the world. Now, that's not blaming my parents. That's understanding that they didn't have the capacity, heart, lungs, air, I love, I'm loved, lung capacity, heart capacity, to be able to show me something more than they had been given. They had no idea. So I just kind of gave up on that and myself, or the thought of being more than me.
Thank you for that. And you're healing. You're going through that process of healing, going through and reflecting on that. But I just wanted it because I know that there's a lot of relatives out there that are looking for self, that are trying to identify with culture, religion, self.
Yeah.
And we all have a place that we've been in that darkness. But I like to focus on where we are in our healing journeys. So I'll pass it over to Standing Bear to ask his question.
So,
Thank you for that, brother. Appreciate it, Anthony.
so the conclusion here, brother, and I think it's a little early to talk about conclusions right here, but we're gonna go ahead because we're 31 minutes into it. I'm 54 years into my conclusion, so it's just kind of like, it's kind of like you put it on that scale, like Earth is 4.7 billion years old. We're a little early to talk about conclusions right here, but well, let's talk about, to me, conclusion. There's an essence of what's ahead, right? So there's really no ending point here, right? So tell us about the conclusion is way out there, like, in the spiritual realms, indigenous realms. It gets in the next 7 generations. If you want to get really, really deep into that, it's 7 generations. So it's a long way out there. So how are you responding as a writer, knowing where you are, the healing is, because there's been some conclusions in your life, but that's not conclusive yet, right? So there's still, as Serena said, a work in progress, right? A work in progress. So tell us, as a healer, and as someone who is transforming, what that future looks like for Walking Crow.
Well, when I wrote the book, it was given to me. In fact, it's in front of me on the other side of the screen in chapters. I was like, what is this list that they gave me? There were 12 items, and they were chapters that the chapters in the book are named after. But when I got to chapter 12, I asked my editor to call that the conclusion. 12 for the 12 steps. I don't know why they gave me 12, but there was 12. So being that there was no chapter, there was a chapter 12, we just shifted the numbers. And I just said, call it conclusion. But coming out of the tree of life, as I did in that part of the book, wasn't the ending, because I've already started writing the book called The Elemental Journey, right? I talked about the 4 elements that I carry within my body: air, fire, water, and earth. Because I identify as Walking Crow, transformational sacred drum medicine. I have transformed from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. I was never hopeless. I was only helpless. I asked for help and I remain hopeful. Saying that, I understood that I had embodied the elemental journey, embodiment of what I do, what I talk about, the drum, the rattle, the ceremony, the tobacco, the sage. I can go on and on, but I don't have to, because everybody here understands. So I understood myself to be on an elemental journey relating to the elements, being the elements, ebbing and flow with the elements. I am the tree is me. I take in the oxygen of the tree. Grandmother tree, I want to make a drum. Can I have a branch? Grandmother tree, I want to build my house. Can I have a branch? And she says, yes, but take a branch from every tree. Don't take the tree. Right? If the colonial world could understand that, but they don't. They can't, because it's about. So the embodiment is important to me. In fact, I think I changed the title to the elemental journey, the embodiment. It was, and the next book is going to be about how I embodied those things moving forward. And I started taking to everything that happened in my early life were the stepping stones that were going to become the stepping stones forward, healing and helping others to heal in their journey.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Yes, indeed. Thank you. Oh, oh, back to me. Got the feather. Got the feather. You know, I mean, he's absolutely right. Well, we talked, you know, the conclusion of that journey, that part of your journey doesn't mean conclusion of your life. And so, with this new book coming out, I wanted to go back a little bit just to touch on your book a little bit more, as far as because I'm looking at the table of contents, and we have, of course, the dedication, the foreword, the preface, but you have your chapters: drastic need for attention, a desperate child, struggle and inner conflict, behind the wall, lip service and the power of doubt, imposing our need, resolution, restitution, nurturing your nature, the transcended soul, the guide within, the embodiment, and the conclusion. To wrap it all up, to make people understand, and I know it's probably going to take a lot more time than just the time that's allotted for you to talk about your book, but in overall, can you kind of just you know, condense it into, you know, maybe a little bit of time here so that people can understand what they're picking up, how it's going to relate to their healing journeys, and then, you know, what the hope for is with your book. What, and you know, and then I would like to ask that question to the other authors too. You know, what is their hope of the book?
You know, everybody has their little secrets. Everybody has their hurts, their wounds, their shames, their traumas, their angers, their fears, their tears. They have all those things. We have all those things. But I'm able to verbalize them in a way, hopefully, that the people understand and resonate with, just like I talk about playing the drum or singing my medicine song and them resonating with those. So resonating with the feelings of brokenness and being unwanted, being unfulfilled, all those things. The fact that I'm standing here, or I was able to write that book and show them what transformation can look like, feel like, be like. And here I am. I'm a 64-year-old man, and I'm pretty snazzy for a 64-year-old man. Who's
If
been
you do
through,
say so yourself, Anthony.
that's right. And that's part of the power. That's part of the power of being. I say that I'm rooted and I'm fruited, and I extend my branches into the heavens, and the birds of the air nest in my branches and eat of my fruit. And what is my fruit? The fruit is the experience that I share of how I got from point A to point B. That's it, and that's all. I don't nibble on the teachings and the psychologies and psychosis of others to give you hope. No, I just shared my experience, and I learned that within the anonymouses, right? I didn't know that my experience was going to matter to somebody when they heard it and they felt the broken child inside, and their fire was living in ash, and they didn't know how to stoke their fire to give themselves new breath and new heart and new love. But the spirits were with me. This book is about spirit. The spirits gave me these words and the ability to do what I do and did and will do forward. Because as a child, I was called dumb, stupid. I was in remedial classes. I dropped out of high school. I was flunked in second grade. My tribes went on without me, and I felt hopeless. But the man learned he wasn't hopeless. He was only helpless. And I taught myself to ask for help. I gave myself the help that others were willing to say yes to. And I said yes to their yes.
Oh, yeah. And that is resilience in itself right there, because the same was for me, and I'm sure with our other co-hosts, of being picked up, ridiculed, bullied. I know I did, for being darker than one person, for being shorter than another, for all of these things. And so I had to learn who I was, which kept me in my addiction along with all the other stuff. But as I gravitate and live this way of life on a spiritual journey of learning and growing and sharing what I learn along with others, it's helped me to move into this place. And that's what these things are for. The books are for that self-help, for others to say, hey, there's somebody out there that relates, or that we can relate to, that information to help them grow in their journeys, which is why you have the transformation, and then the drumming and the rattles, and Brother Standing Bear has, the meditations and his journey and his, trials and tribulations that he's overcome. Same with Chanda and myself. So it's about, while we were in a painful spot, while we had, a lot of things happen to us in our youth and younger years, where are we at today? And it's showing the resilience to others, helping others move through, their trauma and pain, by telling them they all have medicine. We all have we all have medicine within us. It's about finding it. Where do we go? Who's out there to help us and giving back? So I want to bring it back to our co-host. Do you have any questions or anything that you want to ask Brother Walking Crow in regards to his book or what his journeys? Because you did talk about and touch on that he is working on another book. Can you tell us a little bit about the elements of that? Too, me too. We're just going tick 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 away in the middle of that. I know Standing Bear is too. I thought we all are. But it's because that medicine is getting mad, and we see not only the transformation with others, but within ourselves still, because we're able to heal each key we press, each page we turn, each letter we write, and it's healing, for ourselves. But to see that, and we just want to share that with others. That's the importance of it. Yes, Standing Bear. So you turn your mic off.
Yeah, so you know, the healing. So Chief Phil Lane talks about the healing of one is the healing of all, right? And so it's so important, that we come together, we sit together, we pray together, we talk together. It's so important. So, that was impressed upon me by the Spirit, said, bring people together. I'm like you, the last thing I wanted to do 30 years ago was to bring people together. It was like the last thing. And I was like, dude, I just want to be invisible, and I just want to, do what I need to do to get done, to go to that place where I need to go. It had nothing to do with any kind of thing spiritual. It was there, but it was impressed upon me by the elements, by Grandfather Tony, by everything, that beautiful magic that I saw with him. And in the beginning, it was magic, and the end, it was paranormal, and then finally it just natural law. This is what's supposed to happen. So this transformation, we went from magic to paranormal, now to this is supposed to happen. This is the real journey here. And what's interesting here is I took that framework from the ceremony, and I actually brought it right into my writing,
Yep.
and so before I write, I smudge. I say a prayer, because the things that came through, the offerings, the gifts, that I wrote down, they're from out there, and I really understand that. Even in relationship to my own story, it still came from out there. And so, how do you treat, how, how do you begin this writing process? Like, just kind of walk us through step by step a little bit. Is it, do you write one day, take it off? Do you do so? Explain that, and kind of explain it for the person who's not a writer, right? Like we're all writers, they would just kind of walk us in as if we were in like the fourth or fifth grade. Said, this is what we're doing.
It's interesting. there was,
So-
I had no idea I was gonna be a writer. That was never a blip on my radar. Because I was, I was led to believe that I didn't have the ability, that I was, even when I was dating in my late 40s, early 50s, I was dating a woman who was always criticizing my writing. But she had an education. I didn't have an education. And I got my GED at 50, and my highest score came in my writing. And that was kind of in your face because I got my GED because she asked me to. And so I got my GED, and okay. And one of the things about my practice on the Red Road is, the whole world is in a hurry to do whatever it is, or to look at Facebook, or to get the C's: coffee, keys, computer, cell phone, right? In the morning, everybody wakes up and they're out of the gate and they're running the race. Well, years ago, before I came to Sedona, I was staying with my mom for a period, and I took to getting my coffee, getting back into bed, and sitting and listening, not listening, listening. And what started if anybody saw social media this morning, my Facebook page, there's this thing that I do. They're called Crowisms, and all those quotes that I write on my social media page, I mean, they go out into the world and they're called Crowisms. So the Spirit had been speaking to me, and giving me the voice from within, because this voice wasn't as important as this voice was for me to listen to. I didn't know that this voice was important for others to listen to until somebody one day on social media said, "Wow, where do you get your wisdom from?" And I was like, I didn't know anybody was paying attention. I never do, because I'm not paying attention to what they're doing. So I'm just moving through the world the way that I've being asked to by the spirit world, by Great Spirit, Great Mother, and the power and guidance of the medicine wheel and all our relations. So I was given this list, and you read the chapter title, Serena. That was the list. And one day I just sat down and started writing, and I wrote as long as I could, as long as it would come through me, and I would stop and walk away. And then maybe a day or two would go by, and I'd go back to it. And sometimes when I go back to it, it would be like 5 or 6 pages. So I just stayed with that rhythm, didn't force myself, didn't have an expectancy of what I should do, what I could do. I'll be in what I call allowance. Now, I ask people all the time, do you know what allowance is? And they always refer to that receiving the money as a kid. I say, no, allowance is just receiving. Pure and simple. Let's not muck it up. The media and television give it a whole different thing. And it turns into expectation. I have no expectation, right? And so I allow myself to be in the rhythm of the flow. And I'm not always in the flow of writing, but I'm always in the flow of listening. And that's where I allow that to guide me. When it's time, I'll sit down and whip out 2 chapters. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I started writing the other book 3 weeks ago. And I wrote some of the intro stuff. And then I went and started writing. I'm 2 pages into the first chapter. Okay. And this has been a powerful week. And it'll probably be this week or the next week, coming weeks, that I'll sit down again. I'll look at it, and then I'll move on. But I don't put any pressure on myself, because all my life I was under pressure. I was under the gun, if you will. I was always on somebody else's dime. I was always on somebody else's time. My life is mine. My life is free. My life is peaceful. I'm not in the rat race in the narrative of the rat race of the colonial world. I'm in the peaceful way of being, the peaceful way of doing that I am, and I nurture the nature. of who and what I have always been and who I am now. Irregardless, and that's not a word, regardless of what their narrative was for me. I broke the mold. And I don't have to do what they do because they say I have to do it. Nope. So
If I may, whoop, sure, here, thank you, brother, for that. Because, that brings me to, at first, one, allowance, understanding. I just, for myself too, walking through this red road and learning the term of allowance. Again, I always thought it was about monetary gain and doing something for money. But I've learned allowance is first of all allowing myself to go through the emotions, allowing to receive, as you said, allowing the time allocated for certain things, having that grace that things come up in life, right? Same thing with writing. I had all these scribbly papers and sticky notes and crumpled up piece paper, all through my journey, and I'm like, how do I do this? I have an idea, just a publicist is like, just jot down bullets, do this way. Shannon was awesome about that, just like helping me through that, standing there, all of you guys helping, with direction. And then having time to step away and saying, okay, there's no real deadline to, although there was, I'm not gonna lie, it was done, get it out. But it was like, where do I even start? But when the sooner I sat down and began with smudge and prayer and was receptive to that, allowed those spirits to come in, my fingers were hitting those keyboards. And even though my book, the little meditations, but now that I'm working on this second book of Walking the Red Road Journey, a spiritual journey, it's like I am up till like 4 a.m. just typing away, backing out of it, editing, doing all of this stuff. And then I'll step away for a little bit, not go back for a couple of days or a week or whatever. But you know what? It is on the time of the creator that these books are happening. We have all the insight, we have all the experience, it's all inside. But it's the creator saying, hey, it's time to sit down and put this to paper, get to the keyboard, do whatever you need to. And I don't know if that applies to you too, Stanley, or to you, Shanda, as authors, but I know it is on the creator's time, and I'm allocated that time to also take care of my responsibility here in the physical world. So, and that is a good thing, and it'll happen. It's getting done now, and I want to open it up for any other questions from anybody else, and Q&A from anybody in the Zoom room. And I know that, again, I just want to touch on the importance of us coming here, the Indigenous Writers Circle, to talk about what this is for and who it's for, the healing that's taking place, how we as Indigenous authors are healing in our own journey, but sharing that medicine with other people and showing them that they too have medicine, that they can help heal themselves, and however, I talk about it all the time in my videos, or not plugging myself, but everybody carries medicine. It depends on what your creative part is, whether you're a rap artist, whether you're a singer, a poet, whether you're a painter, we carry medicine. And for us, it's the writing. We do this. I just learned that I was a writer. I'm like, oh my goodness. But now that I'm doing it, I have direction to put everything that's inside of me into a book that's going to help somebody. And I know that's how you all feel because I talk to you all, my brothers and sisters who I admire so much, and just so humble to be on this journey. Yes, Gina, she has a question.
Is there any way possible that each and every one of you guys can write down the titles of your books and get them to me? Because I really would love to add them to my collection.
Absolutely. And we can put it in the chat. Also, if you have, since you're on the Facebook, you'll also see it on our threads. We're going to put all our information on there, and have that to you so you can find us. You can find us all on Amazon as well, for the books that we have now. And if you're not in a good relationship with Amazon due to current administration or what have you, we understand. Reach out to the authors. We'll be able to help you with that. Again, that's Anthony J. Rodriguez, Walking Crow.
Well, I know I've been trying to get Walking Crow's book for months, and I just put it back in my cart, and they actually have it in. They said it was unavailable, and they weren't sure when they were going to get it back in.
Good. Okay.
Oh,
Well, I'm
thank
gonna
you.
pass the feather over. Walking Bear, could you said that right? Both Standing Bear, can you take
Walking
the
Bear.
Trying to save time and put
Standing
y'all
Crow,
together.
Standing Crow, walking.
I
Walking
told you
Bear.
we are all
Oh.
related. We're all one.
Crow
Carla
and Bear.
Mitchell,
See, that's
And
why
let me,
I call you. That's
Serena
why
can I
Mitchell.
say, Walking Crow, Walking Crow, if you could tell her your web address and we'll make sure to post it, you can actually purchase that on his book on his web address. And also Serena has a web address. Standing Bear has some other things, but we'll definitely get you that information. We appreciate you asking about our books and the names and where to find us. We appreciate that.
Absolutely.
On my website is www.sacreddrummedicine.com. The book is a little bit more expensive on the website because you can buy it for $25, but you get a signed copy and that includes shipping. So also you can get it from Ingram Books, ingram.com. And the name of the book is A Transformation of a Walking Crow, and it's in the thread.
Thank you.
Thank you, honey.
All right. Very well.
And Serena, what is your web address?
Mine is dailyredroad.org. That's where you can find me. Also, I'm on social media, Traditional Teaching Circle Learning Hub, or Facebook channel. You'll find. I'm putting in the chat right now. Transformation of a Walking Crow, or his information. Oh, let me see. So that for those who are in the chat room can get it. Again, these links will be attached to our live recording, the replays, and you can always reach out to us to do that. Let me see. Did we get in there? I don't know what's going on here. Okay, sorry about that. But I will attach everything to the emails or to our Facebook Live replay post. You'll find us in there. You'll find us. You can reach out to us individually. Again, that's Anthony J. Rodriguez, Walking Crow. Wayne S. Snellgrove, Standing Bear, Chandler R. Mitchell, Serena, mine's under Apache name, Keith Colandio, which is Windy City. You can find me under, and we can help you. But I'll have all the attachments. So again, you can find us on Amazon and do the research, type our names in there as I have, and found each and every one of us under there, and it'll take you to our books. I hope that answered your
Thank
question.
you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Carla, do you have anything? And welcome, sister. Thank you for coming on this beautiful Easter Sunday to sit with us in Walking Crow and talk to him about his book. Would you like to say anything?
I'm just kind of checking everything out. I've started writing, but I had a fire last night, so everything burned. So I'm glad I sent you that stuff, Standing Bear. So all of my journals, all my notes and things like that. So I'm working on some Chat GPT stuff and but the story's in me. You talk about medicine, I mean it's not gone. So I'm just kind of processing through everything on my own journey, trying to stay rooted and grounded in today, right now with what's going on. But yeah, as far as writing, I'd like to do like 13 books, but 12 that grow with children. You start them out as children's books and have them go into, to 6 and 7 year olds, and then to 8 to 10 years old, to 12 to 13, and then have them all come into one big master 13 book, and it's all about, just different animal medicines that, real experiences that I've had throughout my life, but putting them in a creative form and, for teaching, and to let the kids know that, the things that they're experiencing is not weird or, because coming from the colonial family I came from, I was always the weird one. Oh, the dreams I've had, the the experiences that I've had and all that, you know, and so there was not, you know, acceptance of who I was as a soul. And, you know, so after having all these spirit walks, you know, I've had to move out of my 30, you know, 40 years of friendships, and, you know, I still have, you know, they're still my friends, but I've had to move in different and wider circles to be able to be supported in a good way to, you know, so that's where I'm at right now, is just starting to get it out on paper, but it's been something I've known I've needed to do since I was young, you know. That's it. I'm Carla. Hi. Nice to meet everybody.
Yeah. Hey, thank you. You know, everybody has a book in them, and it only takes a few minutes to sit down and talk to somebody to really understand what that book is. And I don't know if you realize, but 75% of writers are men, 75% of readers are women. And since the shutdown, the children's books, especially the ebooks and things, have went way to the top. So I just yeah. We support you. We encourage you. Anybody who wants to become an author, we definitely encourage you. Everybody has medicine in them. Everybody has something they can write on a page that is going to leave a legacy that's going to help somebody. And these authors right here are definitely providing the platform to encourage young Indigenous authors and encourage people to pull out of them, like you said, you've known since you were a child that this is what you need to do. So yes, we're definitely supportive, and especially of life givers, to start writing. And we do also have other options if nobody wants to do Amazon or pay on a website or anything. I know Serena, Wayne, and we all are able to send an ebook if you email us or text us, and we can just send you straight the ebook, you know. And also Wayne's book, you know, if you don't want to do Amazon, he does have a format that he can send it to you. So if any of you are interested in that, and I think Anthony handles most of that on his website, so that, you know, if you want it in any other form or a cheaper form, let us know, and we can definitely accommodate that.
Thank you,
I
Shannon.
want to say one last thing to something I said earlier when I was talking about myself, when I was blowing smoke up my backside. The reason that I speak that way, and I want this to be very clear, I was the ugly duckling. I was too short, too dark, too fat, too all these things, too broken. And when I became the swan, I decided I was going to stand up like the swan, not sit down and hide behind other people and other veils of things, alcohol, drugs, and all those things that I did in my earlier days. The ugly things I did in my earlier days, right? So when I talk about myself and the way I look and who I am, I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I can be proud of myself, because I shared this earlier today on social media. It wasn't until after I was 60 years old when my mother said to me, "You're a good boy. I'm proud of you." So it's just like I want to walk the talk and talk the walk. You
And
know?
I love it.
I
love
do
it.
too. I was
love
only
it.
teasing you, brother. It's
No,
not
it's okay.
vanity.
I like the
People say,
teasing.
a lot of people say, but you know what? There's a difference between, my mother used to say, between being conceited and being confident. You know, there is a difference. And so, you know, when we are confident in our walk and we know we're doing it in a good way, by all means, because it's in our actions that will show the true person that we are. You know, when we do things with humility and understanding and love and compassion. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep sharing your medicine. The other authors, keep doing what you're doing. Keep sharing your medicine. And I would not be a part of this circle had it been for all of you to give me that love and support and that nudge too, to show me there's a way that everybody does have medicine that we carry. And then for me, I'm in a place now where I want to share, but I want to share it on creators time. I want to do it in creators will. I want to, you know, no longer try to control all of that. So just doing it, and when the time when it gets done, and showing others too, inviting others to this Indigenous Writers Circle. We're looking for, let's talk a little bit about that before we gotta go. The Indigenous Writers Circle, where do we see us doing? Because next week we got the fabulous Shannon Mitchell, who will be our final author for the week. She'll talk to us about her book. Well, and we'll ask you a little bit, but it is a book about for youth, for young people who are grieving loss. I think it's an excellent book. And China, can you tell us a little bit about it? Not to take anything away from it, because I want to finalize with something with you, Anthony, before we close.
Yeah. Well, just like you all, I just wanted to share the medicine that I've learned from the grandmothers, the elders. Standing Bear and Serena have been just phenomenal in allowing me into like grandmother circles and other circles to get me taught. So my book is for grieving children, and it's actually medicine. And it's the medicine from the creator. It doesn't cost a dime. It's all around us. And there's so much, we're never alone. We have the ancestors with us, not just the two-legged, but the four-legged, the creepy crawly, the flying machine. And so everything that's in that book is not the book. I wanted to put more, and I may edit it and put more, but these are just practical medicines that you can help children who are grieving in that.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Chanda. So stay tuned, because she will be our fourth week of Live at 5 next week on the 27th. And we'll be talking to Chanda about her book. And she does have some other books, so don't let her fool you. She's got some business books, and she's been really helpful in the business aspect of how to find things for less for me. Seeing how I've transitioned from working to doing this full time and helping others and being of service. So thank you, Chanda, for that. Standing Bird, do you have any final thoughts before we move to Anthony's closing and walking us through what his next steps are?
I do, yeah.
Yay.
Surprised you. I surprised. Standing Bear talking, huh? Yeah. Sam has a couple ideas here. Yeah, my elders and the teachers, really beautiful. And one of the aspects that they talked about was being in that place beyond the beyond, thinking, feeling, hearing. That's dreaming, that's imagination. That's really the beginning of everything, right? And so reflecting on what we're doing here, right? We're living that, right? We're living that beautiful dream, right? Really finding, nestling, nurturing ourselves in to this beautiful place in the circle, the place that we were always looking for, that place of belonging, that place of, wow, man, I do have something to offer. And so it's much larger than the book itself, but that's what I'm getting at. It's larger than the words on the page, right? It's really the essence of living beyond the beyond, to be that beautiful person, to find that beautiful place that you are, right? And so this is the way that we do it, right? And this is a beautiful way. But beyond the beyond, we want to encourage all of you to step into that beautiful imagination, that round, that place where you can offer something, that part of you, that wisdom, that knowledge, the place where you feel free. That's the place. I think Walking Crow touched on that place that we feel free. And so, we step out of that colonial, assignment world where they assign you certain things, and we're just like, okay, yeah, well, yeah, we're just, okay, you're gonna go to school, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, you're gonna get a job, you're gonna pay taxes, you're gonna do this, you're gonna that, you're gonna get pharmaceuticals, you're gonna do this. And so we're already signed this, but really once we step into the realm of the spirit, bottom line is here we are, right? And living that beautiful place beyond the beyond. And so again, and like Shanda said, there's a story and medicine in all of us. And so beyond the beyond here is we want you to reach for that. We want you to live that. We want you to live your dream. We want you to go out there and experience this beautiful place called Beyond and Beyond. And so that's the message that's the message that I'm hearing right now. So, and again, if no one said that, they love you today. I love you all very much. And again, very honored to sit here with you in this beautiful city.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Shoga here. I am just as Brother Wayne was talking. I'm sorry, his brother Stanley Bear. What did I say? Walking Bear? His brother Walking Bear was discussing. I just, we're all related. We're all one. So I put in the chat, and thank you, Standing Bear and Chanda, for helping, move this along with Walking Crow. I did put in the chat our books here in Zoom. I also was going back and forth into the Facebook Live, putting the same chats in there. So for those who are watching us live, and we have many, I put our links to our books also in the Facebook Live chat. So we're going to come to a close, and we're going to end it in a good way. But I want to ask, Brother, Walking Crow, can you just kind of summarize what's next for you? What are we doing? Besides, we talked a little bit about your book and closing, and the other authors had a chance to talk to you, but what's next for you? And if you could just verbalize how we can look for you, besides me putting in the chat all the contact information for all the authors here who are my co-hosts. Tell us in a summary how we can find you and what's next for you.
Well, I just want to say that on Wednesday, the 23rd, will be 1 year that I published the book. And I want to say thank you to the spirit world, to Great Spirit, Great Mother, and the world in general, right? Because there's so many different sorts of medicines. I just want to say thank you for those who happen to find my particular brand. What's coming up is, I live my life day to day. I have no flurry for a hurry, but I'm in the midst of writing the Elemental Journey, and I'm also writing a book called the Voice of Spirit, Poking the Bear, Crowisms, because the things that I say are I call them Crowisms, and I have hundreds of quotes that have been attributed to me, and I'm going to put those into the third book. Is going to be all Crowisms, and it's called Poking the Sleeping Bear because I'm always poking at people, and I ask with questions. I do it with questions, and it's kind of an assault, but it's also like putting salt in your wounds, and it allows you to think. Whoa, what did he just say to me? And it allows you to feel and to ask yourself those same questions. So, I don't know when they're going to be come to completion, but they're on the journey with me. Aho.
Thank you.
Yeah. And, www.sacreddrummedicine.com. You can find me at Facebook at Anthony J. Rodriguez, in parentheses, Walking Crow. YouTube is a Walking Crow, Transformational Sacred Drum Medicine. On YouTube, there's over 560 videos from over my career. My path, I'm not going to call it a career, of this journey, which is a lot. And I wonder, when did that happen? And then I have another page on YouTube called Walking Crow, Shamanic Healing Songs. And they're the healing medicine songs that I sing for my own healing as well as the healings of others. I'm going to continue in birthing the drums, the rattles, and when anybody calls upon me to be of service, I will be of service. And by the way, Daniel Ramos said hello, and I got to go and speak to a group of men who were in recovery and in the beginning stages, and I was so honored to be back in that arena because I walk in a different way within that arena. But I was glad to be in that arena on Thursday because it was just beautiful to be there with them and be one of the guys.
Awesome. And Daniel is an amazing elder out there doing the work. Also somebody in recovery. I met him at Camp Verde 3.5 years ago. Amazing. When I first started coming through my journey, I was probably 2 years in it already, but amazing person, has lots of wisdom. So I'm glad that you get to spend time. I'm glad he's in your circle out there, and I'm glad he remembers me. Just kidding. Oh my gosh. I hate when it comes to this point where we have to end it, but there's, just because we end this circle doesn't mean that we won't continue and on in other circles. So please stay tuned to us. Standing Bear has these books out. Standing Bear, can you tell us what your titles are and how we can find? I want to plug each one of us.
Yeah, I have 4 books. Daily Medicine, Whispers from the Hollow Bone, Sifting Through the Ashes, and our newest, the latest, and greatest is Sound of Falling Feathers. And I will give you those links. You can get those through all on Amazon. And you get those through my publisher as well. And I can give you that information too. I'll put that in the feed to get those. But all those can be found on Amazon, as well as a journal too to take notes. Because a lot of, and actually that's your idea. Say, look, I wish we had a note thing to take that, and I didn't really come up with it until Candace said, I think we should do this notebook thing. And I'm like, I think you're right. We should do this notebook thing. I'm like, they've been asking for it. So anyway, there's a special notebook that aligns with the books too. So yeah.
Awesome.
And
Thank
the
you,
YouTube is
brother.
Standing Bear the author. Is that what the YouTube is?
Yes.
Yeah. So
And
you
for
can
the author-
find. Yes, you can find him on Facebook, in his Facebook channels. We Are the Medicine and the Gathering of the Circle. I know,
Mhm.
which is his business page. And Walking Crow also on social media. Chanda, how can we find you?
Look for the loudest voice with the Texas accent.
There you go. There you have it, relatives. There you go. That's how you find Sister
And I'm going to
Chanda.
tell y'all, I know you're my elder brother Wayne and you're my sister Serena, but I came prepared with my feather and y'all did not pass it around. And I was like, I'm going to hold this feather the whole time until they ask for it. So I came prepared.
Wait
there.
a minute, I
I
wasn't
do get
done
my
yet,
stuff
though.
together every now and then.
I wasn't finished though, because you will have your feather to close
did I
us.
miss it?
Yeah. And
Okay,
it's good medicine.
okay.
It's good. So we can find also her on Amazon as well, her books. And you just, for me, what I do is type in Chanda Mitchell and Chanda R. Mitchell. You'll find the other books associated with her, the business books that she has, the
Yes.
journal, the Wisdom Keeper journal. And then I think, and my perspective with my meditation book, The Daily Dose of the Red Road, with the journal part, as a reflection for that, but every book, Walking Crow's book, it's got a lot of context, a lot of healing in there. So definitely pick one out, go get it to Amazon, from Amazon, or reach out to Walking Crow. They're all instrumental tools in helping ourselves move through the red road and to get us to that other side of health and wellness. Our journeys are all different, but the destination is the same, and that's to heal ourselves and to help heal others as we move forward with that. You can also find mine, Daily Dose of the Red Road, on Amazon. There's Serena Kiko Landeo, Windy City, in Chiricahua Apache, San Carlos language. Also on Amazon, my Traditional Teaching Circle Learning Hub channel, on Facebook and YouTube, where I do teachings of my daily meditations. We're all doing good medicine. We're all helping one another move through the process of healing and helping others as we do it. So this is a call out for those aspiring or already established authors, Indigenous authors. We're looking for you. Come reach out to one of us here, the 4 of us, the 4 quadrants, the 4 parts of the medicine wheel. We're looking for you. We want to keep this channel going. We'd like to hear from you. Put some, give us some feedback. Let us know that you're here, so somebody, or this is relatable to you, because that helps us move through and keep our humility when we do this, but also open the door for other relatives to come through. Every one of us carries medicine, and those of us who don't know, you'll find it. You'll find what you do. You'll find your medicine. So I want to pass it over to Sister Chanda, the last feather of closing thoughts, and then we're going to close it out with Standing Bear. But before we do that, before I pass this feather, Anthony, is there anything you want to say, Walking Crow?
Yeah, if you don't know what your natural nature is, sit quietly with Spirit and ask him for direction into nurturing the nature of who and what you have always been, and who you will be moving forward, who you are right now. Nurture the nature and say yes to yourself after a lifetime of no's.
Oh, couldn't close it anyway. So we'll send it to sister. Thank you, Anthony. I love you, brother. I love being on this journey. Known him for about 4 years now. He's an amazing person. I grow, he grows, we grow. All right, Chanda, closing remarks. And then Brother Standing Bear, closing prayer. Here's the feather, sister.
I'm gonna do a quick teaching. Y'all are so excited. Y'all just don't know. So the first time that I sat with a feather and it was passed to me was at the gathering, and we were sitting down for the first time as Wayne does the medicine circle. We'd all been sitting with him for a year and nobody had ever met. We all met that morning. It was amazing. We had a grandmother from Australia that was just awesome. Beautiful people. And of course, Wayne has to correct me because I get the feather and I start screwing with it with my hand because I didn't have the teaching about how you hold it and what you do with it. So I just want to say, now y'all know. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, sister. And yes, all those beautiful relatives. We all met at the same gathering, at the gathering of the elders, the Eagle and the Condor here in Nauvoo, Illinois, where my grandmother, we just all came together. I did all interviews. So those will be coming out soon. I can't wait for that. I had a snippet of Standing Bear and the interview that I did with him. So that's going to be all coming, all this beautiful stuff. But we did meet 3.5 years ago, and who knew that we'd be walking down the same road together, holding hands 3 years later. So I'm honored and humbled to be here with you. Brother Standing Bear, here's a feather. I love you all. Thank you all for coming today. We're going to close it out in a good way. Thank you, Anthony,
Thank
for coming
y'all.
and sharing your story with all of us here. We love
Thank you so
you.
much.
Yes, thank you so much. And I'll go ahead and pass it over to Standing Bear. I want to wish everybody a happy Easter too. If you celebrate that holiday, be with family, have goodness today. And remember, we love you and you are loved. All right, pass the feather to Brother Standing Bear. Wayne.
Buffalo Nation. We'll take it.
Hey.
Buffalo Nation.
Mm.
Standing Bear. Just kind of close your eyes. Just breathe a little bit. Just remember that beautiful place. Remember that beautiful place.
Oh, thank you, brother. You want to pray us out in a good way? Love you for that. Thank you so much.
Creative, great spirit. Pitchy, Manitou. T, Megwit. Thank you. Thank you for our breath. Thank you for our circle. Thank you for our sunrise. Thank you for our life. Thank you for bringing us together here tonight, this afternoon, on this beautiful day. Thank you for showing us. Thank you for taking care of us. Thank you to the ancestors, reminding us to use good words. Thank you to the grandfathers and the grandmothers. Thank you to the helpers that brought us here. ask that you take these words, you take them out to the four winds. Use these words in a good way. Take these words to the people that need them, to the people that need to hear them, to the people that need to experience this and understand this. Don't be shy with this. Offer this love, this circle here freely and openly. Just as the ancestors and the spirits have guided you and guided us. Remember, this is the 7th generation circle. And so we offer ourselves to the next 7 generations. And if you are listening to this, take what's good here and put that on your heart and carry that with you forever. Oh, hi.
Thank you so
Oh.
much.
Oh, thank you. That was
Negotiate.
absolutely beautiful. Yes, Chimigwech, Ashok, Eki, Pilamae, gracias. Thank you for all of it. Thank you so much. And thank you. I really appreciate it. I had enjoyed myself. Thank you, Anthony Walking Crow, for sharing your book, Transformation of a Walking Crow. And to my co-host and other authors, Chano, Standing Bear, thank you so much. This was amazing. Next week again, live at 5, we'll have our other author, Chanda R. Mitchell, coming and talking to her about her journey and her books. We want to thank you again for coming today for the last 3 weeks. So this week was Anthony Rodriguez, myself last week, and then the first week was Standing Bear. So again, you can see those videos and replays if you go on our personal pages. You can see them sharing. You can also go to our business pages, Traditional Teaching Learning Circle. We are the Medicine Gathering of a Circle. Anthony J. Rodriguez, Chanda Mitchell. You can find all the replays. And so we thank you for your love, support. Again, this is a call out for those aspiring or established Indigenous authors. We want to welcome you. Come here, come and share your book, come and tell us your story. Reach out to one of the 4 fabulous people here in the circle. Gina, thank you for hanging out with us in the Zoom room. We appreciate you. All of the viewers out there on Facebook Live, we thank you. We thank you. And if you didn't get a chance to watch this, share it with someone else so they can watch it. And again, thank you so much. We want to say happy Easter to each and every one of you. If you practice those teachings or if that's a part of your life, otherwise, we just want to wish you a good day. We love you very much, and we will see you all next week at
Yeah.
live at 5. I hope
Peace,
you
love, and good vibes. Thanks, y'all.
have a good one,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody. Thank you.
Good job.